Since I wasn't there, you know, I should do something.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing like, oh, the back. Yeah.
All right. Let's get this show started. Jeff, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Way packed. Let's see. Rosemary.
The four-way pact in the way I interact with others, personal accountability with courage and truth. First,
I will have the courage to tell the whole truth. I will be kind in the way I tell it. I will be fair and not seek selfish advantage. I will have an open heart and an open mind.
Jack, can you lead us in invocation?
Wake up our heads. Dear God, we give thanks for this day and for the guests that are with us. We ask a blessing on the Rotarians here and around the world and the projects that they're involved with. Bless this food and this meeting to our use. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Gene, can you introduce the guests at your table?
My guest today, my guest today is John Mueller with CutSmart. He's going to be one of our speakers.
Mike Erickson was guest at your table.
Assistant Governor James.
Alan, how about your table?
I'm pleased to introduce people who are going to hear a lot more about later. You'll hear about them, so I don't want to take you down this. Oh, yeah.
Bring out the money.
So, as everybody who's been in this house for a while knows, we have an event every year called the Classic. And this young lady here is why the Classic has been so successful the last 4 years. Sarah Rodriguez, who is a party planner, a wedding planner, and a person extraordinary. Sarah,
All right, any announcements? Announcements, Bonnie? No? Roger?
A little friendly club.
hello, Roger.
I just wanted to remind people of two things. One is when you're a guest, please always remember this guest. To have you sign up front at the binder that we have up here. And second, when you're the chairman of a committee and you have a meeting and people attend, to send that to me so I can make sure they get credit for the attendance.
Get mine?
I have about 3 or 4 things to remind people about. What's this Sunday?
Chili
cook-off. Right. And what time is it? 4 o'clock. Good. And what are you bringing?
Chili.
Appetizers.
What, I was gonna say, what if you're not bringing chili? Appetizer or?
Renee.
Please, yes, thank you. Just wanted to remind you also, if you want a special drink, please bring your drinks as well. Any questions? We'll see you all on Sunday, 4 o'clock. Thank you.
And for those of you who may not have heard, some sad news. A dear Rotarian friend of our club, Mark Gibson, the past president of the Barrington Breakfast Club and husband of past district governor Suzanne, passed away a few days ago. The memorial service is today 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Davenport Family Funeral Home in Barrington. And there's a funeral service, I believe, at 10 a.m. at Lutheran Church of the Atonement in Barrington. So Mark was a great friend of our club. He led that Rotary Friendship Exchange with Taiwan. That was the seed for our ACE grant. So he was just, and he, with a number of other collaborations. So just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. So thank you.
You wanna go? I gotta get around the.
Brian, do you want to? What's?
Okay, everyone, I'm talking today about the Classic coming up. What's the date of the Classic? Who knows the date of the Classic?
May 6th.
Roger, got it first. Alan, make sure you credit him when you do Find Master today. I'm gonna be helping to facilitate the silent auction again this year. And there's a form that's available now that we sent out to everyone to be used for any item that's being donated for the silent auction. There's no time like the present to get going with the silent auction items. So please think about how you might be able to solicit items from friends, family, colleagues, and get that form filled out, send it to me, and we will get it into the system. We don't want to wait too long. We don't want to wait till right before the auction, so please get moving on it. If you have any questions about the silent auction, please let me know. Thanks. Thanks.
We had our meeting for international service last week, and I'm happy to say that we, as a committee, have decided, and a check was written today to support Holly's, the Uganda service project. So she's receiving a check for that, or the Chicago Club is receiving a check for that. We also decided to give $1,000 in DDF to an ultrasound that's going to be used in India. So thank you to the committee for making those decisions. We have probably another 8 requests that we need to go through, and more that I'm sure that will be coming by the end of our funding period. I also am very excited to say that through a connection with Tom Ghosh and community service, Jean and I have put together an event for PCs for People. I don't know if you've heard about them or if you were at a meeting when we talked about it. With the pandemic, so many people didn't have internet, so many people didn't have equipment. So it's a company that refurbishes PC equipment, wipes it, they're certified, so you don't need to worry about any data breaches or anything like that. We're hosting February 18th at Poplar Creek Bowl at Bar Down Sports Grill from 10 to 2. I know that many of us probably have 2 or 3 laptops or computers that they can bring. If you bring them, we'd love that. We'd like to show them how Rotary really shows up for the community, and we'll get a flyer out to you within the next week or so. Thank you.
Here, just let you know, the classic tickets will be available and being distributed the first week in February. Also online. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Kelly, once again.
Forgive me, for anyone who saw inclined, they're asking the Mark and Suzanne asked that donations be made to the District 6440 Foundation in lieu of flowers. So, and forgive me for this, putting our president on spot, but it'll be a wonderful tribute to Mark if our club made some kind of donation to the District 6440 Foundation too, maybe in the president's discretionary fund. So thank you.
Wow.
Man, his shoulder, I think he dislocated his shoulder with his arm behind his back.
You saw yesterday that project selection, I sent an email to the whole club. If you would like to either forward that application to nonprofits in the area, I did give a list of the ones that we contacted. And then Boys and Girls Club will get an email today because that was not on that list. So any others, feel free to contact me or just send it off. And all the information is in that PDF. Thanks.
Wow, when I came up here, I thought there was only one announcement. Little did I know. All right, who's happy? Any happy dollars out there? Roger.
$2 because it's 66 days until spring. 106 days until my permanent two-time assistant.
Can you collect? Who else is happy? Phil Kelly.
I have $5 happy. My oldest child has put in a successful bid to buy a house in Western Massachusetts. And I would especially want to thank the Western for picking the brain of Rotary and the rest of the bidding. So, thank you.
Mike?
I recently been chatting with this lady named Jody Benjamin. She says hi to everyone.
Now,
I have $500, thanking Big Mike and brother John to be here with us today, and you'll find out in a little while why.
Maybe some of you know, I almost never carry a purse, I hate it. I decided I needed a little one today, so I found some money.
Debbie.
I'll be $5,000. I haven't seen you guys in a while. And it's a lovely holiday, and I got two of my adult sons to join us on a cruise, one handled and one
Jim.
I have $5 happy. I'm thrilled to be here again. We're off to another great calendar year, even though it's a Rotary year. So this is the second half of my term as assistant governor this year. So move to impeach.
So I have $3 happy because after a year of pain from knee replacement, I had knee repair surgery and I'm back on the planet, no pain, all's good. So, yay.
Oh, Gene.
So I have $2 happy. My daughter's got Percy Jackson musical coming up next weekend and the weekend after. And then I have $2 happy with my first chili cook-off. I'll be entering chili. So it'll be an interesting experience. I'm very happy with that. And then I have $4 happy because everybody knows I like to learn new things, and I especially like to learn new things from fellow Rotarians. I was having a conversation with somebody at a meeting, and Alan Gabe had offered, like he does often, and very welcome, his unsolicited opinion on the subject. So I did a little research on the subject, and on May 8th, 1886, Coca-Cola was invented. A guy sold about 9 glasses a day. I forget the guy's name, at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta. However, Alan, you might remember during World War I, ginger ale was the predominant drink then. Probably drank it on the lines. I'm not sure, but, so I thought it was an interesting history, but Alan had brought to our attention that drinking Diet Coke, which was actually not invented until 1982, actually makes you gain weight. Because Alan can explain it to you later. Everybody ask him afterwards. It somehow tricks your body. He's got all the specifics on it. So I want to thank you to Alan Gabe for teaching me something.
All right, time for the Queen of Hearts. Who's feeling lucky?
On Friday.
I'm gonna shuffle. It's Friday the 13th. I'll shuffle one. All right. It's Holly. Now, pick a number.
Lowest number
Is
Well, okay.
Careful, Roger.
Who said that?
It's a sharp knife.
I move away from myself.
It is the king. All right, since we have a lot of things to do today, I will bring the fine master up to fine us all.
Well, first of all, thank you for that rousing welcome. Happy New Year to everybody. Surprise going gig, happy dollars for our first meeting since the new year. So a couple of bag personnel. George, would you be a bag personnel? Linda, would you be a bag? What?
We were here.
I can't hear you.
Would be the second.
We
Okay.
were all here, you were here.
Oh, that's right. Last week we had a meeting. So everybody who was here last week and I wasn't here, that'll be $2. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Don. And speaking about Don Miner, did everybody see the table Don Miner is sitting at? He's sitting at table with Bill Kelly, past president, sitting with Mike Erickson, who's a big muckety muck, past district governor, past Cuba, whatever the hell he is over in the district on the foundation, international foundation, and with our assistant governor. So if you're not sitting at a table with people like that, pay $2. Again, I'm gonna find people because there's a coat rack out there, folks. Anybody who did not hang their coat up and has their coat over their chair or someone else's chair, that'll be $2. It's dangerous and it's not, and it interferes with the wait staff. So be nice to the people. If you're late, that'll be $2. If you don't have a guest at your table, that'll be $2. If you're wearing any clothing that has advertising on it, except for Jeff gets a pass on that because he's helping us out on the Classic. That'll be $2. Oh, speaking of the Classic, we are doing some new and exciting things this year, and we've started a new subcommittee to help go out and find. You don't have those at your own table? To help get live and silent auction items, and Gene Walters has graciously volunteered to do some, to chair that subcommittee. So if you want to help Gene with that, and of course, he's going to have Linda help him because that's how they roll. Please let him know. If you're not wearing your pin, that'll be $2. And if you're not wearing your badge, that'll be $2. And is anybody watch the NCAA championship football game at TCU in here? Okay. So if you bet on TCU, I'm sorry, Glenn, I'm not going to find you because it was terrible. And if anybody here who I haven't found yet, I did a good job. Everybody have a great lunch.
So I have an announcement. I have 2 balls here. To take my 2 balls.
Yo, you can come back on the stage.
Go work here.
You know how lucky I am.
Okay. Enjoy your lunch.
Probably. My favorite honor pit. I had it right there. It's gone. I should have done that for announcements. It could have been the same. I thought I had it after I was here, but I can't guarantee it.
I don't know. Even when I looked at Roni, delicious. I can't get enough of it. Yeah,
I'm gonna take the entree. I don't do chicken on the bone.
Lamb? It was. I ate everything.
Leftover stuff.
No, this is chicken. You know, I would like to just have the chicken and take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about that. Done for the last few years. After the money's paid out.
Well,
Well, we used to have.
I mean, it's great.
I'm now one of the, back in the good old days. But we used to have them in and at least tell us about we got a, we got a preview at the, classics. Geez. So we got two surprises. But I said it was because I have late security. He said sometimes they get the measurements. So they have to go in. My first time was fine. So for my age, my first
their surgeon. He's like, there's nothing I can do to your yourself. So we asked for a second, second had a really bad knee cap. They just bring it to me. That's the surgeon. We go down to the lesson and he said, yeah, I don't fit knee cap or surface right now. And then I go into surgery and he said, I can't even go to the plastic.
That's actually last one I had.
So he said, I took it out. It's nice when you can do a little profit business. And have social care. But that is, rather than trying. I did. Business program. But Jeff had the same surgery. Had both his knees
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's on fire. It's actually a little further in. I didn't know what that is. So that's it. But it's about 5 floors down. I don't know what it was. We still don't. Storage. Oh. Couldn't get the clock to work. Doesn't break it down. So you know, the time when I was out there.
I'm sure there's a way. But I'm not sure it's worth what it would take to figure out the way.
You figure it out in mid-June.
Yep.
So I don't know if you wanted to do this, but if you set it up so that it's presenter view, it has the time on your laptop. Shows you this preview of what's next and the screen. It's there. I'd have to share. Yeah.
You must just glance. But see, that's the problem. You think you get to enjoy the lunch.
That's how I was on my way.
Say, you know, that, okay.
We're gonna upload Christmas Day. The Wednesday after Christmas when my dad's party. New Year's Day.
Ham was on sale this year. And so we had 3 different gatherings and I served ham and only 3. Then I made split pea soup with the bone one. And froze some. And have some still sitting in the fridge. And we had it as leftovers a couple of times. Fortunately, it keeps forever. Well, you were away.
Yeah, we left Christmas Day. And we were in Florida.
That's a good time. No matter what it's not. And they talk so fast.
He's alive! I thought he was dead, but he's alive! Oh, no! Take it, just take it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You can call me Jason or Professor Voorhees. Here to give you a little bit of a talk about today. Anybody know what's special about today? Beautiful, thank you. Now, in the Western Hemisphere, there is one day that lives in cultural infamy. A day when all manner of misfortune, from minor inconvenience to absolute catastrophe, is said to occur. As is with walking under a ladder, breaking a mirror, crossing paths with a black cat, Friday the 13th is believed by many to bring bad luck. Who wants to take a shot at trying to pronounce that? Beautiful. Yes, frigatriscadecaphobia. While most Western cultures have historically considered the number 12 for its completeness, 13 is a long history of being considered bad luck. Prior to the 20th century, Friday was always held to be an unlucky day and 13 an unlucky number. However, the combination as a concept did not exist until the 19th century. In 1907, we saw the first written association of Friday and the 13th in a book titled Friday the 13th by Thomas William Lawson, which had nothing to do with me. It was actually about a New York stockbroker who played on superstitions to manipulate the market and better his own fortunes. As you can see here, Frigg is tied to the Norse goddess for whom Friday is named, the wife of Odin. Triskaideka is Latin for the number 13, and phobia, most people know automatically from every other phobia is fear. Friday the 13th can happen up to 3 times a year. This year, as you can see here, we're due for 2 this month and again in October, which ought to be fun. Last year, we were lucky and only had 1. 2021 was 1 as well, and 2020 we had 2. Not that anybody was really out to notice too much going on in those years. What's strangely enough, the 13th day falling on a Friday is actually slightly more likely than every other day over a 400-year span. A study actually found that 688 Fridays over 400 years will be a Friday the 13th. The next closest was actually just edged out 687 on a Wednesday. So going back to the origins of Friday being a bad luck day. Most people would consider it, with the Christian beliefs, events that have canonically been agreed upon by many Abrahamic scholars as occurring on a Friday include the Great Flood, Eve tempting Adam with the apple, as well as their expulsion from Eden, and their eventual death later on. The fratricide of Cain and Abel also was agreed upon to have occurred on a Friday. Jesus being crucified, as we all know, on Good Friday. However, that one does now tend to break the stigma of being a bad luck day. Most people consider that to actually be a beneficial day for humanity. And the destruction of the Temple of Solomon. Biblical associations with the number 13, however, go back as far as Judas, who we all know was the 13th apostle and the 13th guest at the Last Supper. Another well-known association with the 13th and also Friday the 13th was the arrest by King Philip IV of France of the Knights Templar. However, many people don't know there is actually no recorded records
of that actual event happening on a Friday the 13th. So it's just been an association. The Bible's book of Revelation, also chapter 13, is devoted entirely to the Antichrist as well as the beast of the book. All in all, not great characters, you know. Origins of the superstition also go back even pre-Christian. Bad luck associated with the number 13. There is actually a Norse story, a tale of 12 gods at a banquet. Loki, being the uninvited 13th guest, arrived and decided to trick the god Balder of light to attempt to throw things at, I'm sorry, it was Hodor, the god Hodor, to throw spears and arrows at the god Balder of light, who was known to be immortal to everything. Eventually, he was eventually convinced to throw a spear made of mistletoe. Unknown to all the other gods was also the one thing that Balder was not invulnerable to. The events that occurred after this led to the Norse Ragnarok, which many people might not know leads to the eventual end of the 9 realms. Association with the movie The Friday the 13th. The motion picture has essentially made this hockey mask and machete the face of the Friday the 13th. However, the entire connection between Friday the 13th and the movie is the birth date of Jason Voorhees, which in the first movie is said to be Friday, June 14th. However, the year that he was said to have been born, that Friday the 13th would have been a Thursday. So due to plot holes, there is actually no real connection. Here we have just a little bit of trivia real quick. In Spanish-speaking countries, as well as Greece, Tuesday the 13th is considered to be unlucky, not Friday the 13th, mostly due to the translations of Tuesday in those languages sounding as, that actually? Nope. Portuguese-speaking Brazil, Friday the 13th in August is considered to be especially unlucky because Augusto rhymes with Desagosto, which is sorrow. Italy, it's actually the 17th, as the Roman numeral XVII can be arranged in VIXI, Vixi, which roughly translates to I have lived, implying that you are currently dead, which is also an omen of bad luck. The 13th trump card of the major arcana of tarot decks, for anyone who might follow such things, is the death card. The Dutch Center for Insurance and Statistics, however, found that 300 less automotive accidents occur on Friday the 13th than any other Friday. This study was conducted 2006 to 2008, they believe linked to people tending to drive less on Friday the 13th. They also found a similar correlation between crime and fire data as well. Psychologists are quick to point out that anything negative happening on a Friday 13th tends to make a more direct connection versus that same event happening on any other day of the week or any other number of the month, i.e. classic confirmation bias. A little bit more trivia. Approximately 17 to 21 million people in the US fear this day so much that they will refuse to do business or in extreme cases, even leave their homes. An estimated $800 to $900 million is lost on this one day, according to a 2004 study, just because of a date. Many buildings and skyscrapers, if you'll ever notice, don't have a 13th floor. Many ships' captains, again, we don't see too many ships this small anymore, but many ships' captains will refuse to go to sea with a crew of 12 men, simply because, including themselves, would be a crew of 13. Ancient Babylon, this one was probably one of my favorite pieces of trivia. The ancient Babylonian Code of Hammurabi, written in 1700 BC, actually omitted a 13th law from its list of laws. Some people believe that could be because of an unlucky coincidence or an unlucky superstition. Most people believe it to be a simple clerical error. And now, just a quick list of events that have occurred on Friday the 13th, because again, we've agreed that this is all superstition. Friday the 13th, 1939, the Black Friday fire in Victoria, Australia. 1,300 buildings destroyed and 75 people deceased. September 13th, 1940, the German bombing of Buckingham Palace hit by 5 bombs. July 13th, 1951, Topeka, Kansas flood. The Kansas River rose over 12 meters above its flood level. 500,000 were evacuated, thankfully only 28 deceased. March 13th, 1964, many people know of this particularly gruesome incident, the Kitty Genovese murders in Queens, New York. Anyone who's had a psychology class has probably heard of this. It's used quite frequently to exemplify the bystander effect. The entire attack happened over 30 minutes, had 40 witnesses, none of whom contacted police. November 13th, 1970, there was a Bangladeshi cyclone, over 300,000 dead. September 13th, 1996, probably the closest to my heart, the shooting death of Tupac Shakur. January 13th, 2012, the cruise liner Costa Concordia reefed with over 400 passengers. Again, thankfully only 32 deceased. So on that somber note, I'll open up the floor. Any questions? Again, keep in mind, it's only a superstition. It's only a day.
Yeah, I have one. I knew a little bit about the why buildings, hotels may not have a 13th floor. Can you expand a little bit more on where that came from, or like maybe originally started that?
No one's really 100% sure where that actually started from, like which architect started leaving those off, but it's all tied to the particular unlucky association with the number 13. Most buildings, once they started reaching a 13th floor, the architects just immediately skipped over that number.
Yeah, it just seems very, common for my
Mhm.
experience. So.
Yeah, it's basically, it's as soon as they could start building above 13 floors, because keep in mind, at one point, buildings above 4 floors was considered amazing.
Most of the buildings do have a 13th floor, they put mechanically.
Mhm. Correct, yes. Yeah, I should have clarified that, yes, there is still a 13th floor. Unfortunately, we haven't figured out how to bend the laws of physics to actually leave a floor completely non-existent. But yes, there is usually a floor. It's usually mechanical or storage, but most of the time on elevators, it will not actually show, no button. And it's usually a key access in order to even get to it, kind of like a penthouse. All right. I will step aside then. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
The good folks at GP made this nice mug with the 4-way test on it, which you will hear in a few minutes. And, it's all about me. My biggest customer, their offices is on the 13th floor over in Itasca, and I love going to their offices because I feel like I'm breaking it. I'm breaking the lore. Can we do one thing? Jim? Chris? Take 2 minutes.
When I got here earlier, I looked around the room to see if there was anybody here that should be recognized. And either this young man came a little bit later, I just wasn't looking carefully. But our generous donor has now achieved the level of a Paul Harris Fellow +8. This represents $9,000 worth of donations. Christina Hossa, would you come get your new? Your nose is cold. All right, thank you.
Well, isn't it amazing how a lot of us take our cars to Chris to get repaired, and in return, Chris gives money to Rotary. So everybody should give yourself a big round of applause for helping to support Rotary. Speaking of Rotary, as all of you know, we have a fundraiser. And it's May 6, 2023 at the Hyatt Hotel in Schaumburg. We're doing something, believe it or not, me being chairman, we're doing something a little different this year. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mike Nemoff, who is going to tell you about some of these different things.
Good night.
Hello, everybody. So I am Mike Nemoff. I run a company called Mega Events, and we do events all over the country. And I think I met Alan, I guess it was about a month ago when we went and checked out the venue of where you're going to do your event. And I got to meet him through Sarah, who's seen me live at an event. And what we do is we are a bunch of fun guys that do fundraising great. I do events all over the country. And I want to tell you a few of the ideas that we do, a little bit about me and who I am, and give my number out if you have ideas. And it's here to motivate you. You know, so when I get a group like this, I would simply say to the group, we're looking for silent auction items. So who knows somebody who knows somebody who has Cubs tickets? We need some. We need White Sox tickets. We need those Bears tickets. We need to know who knows somebody who owns a restaurant, a chef that we could do a chef experience with. And while Johnny's passing these paddles around, I'll get into that as well as soon as you're done, Johnny. But what I do all over the country is really host meetings and live auction events, fundraising events to make a difference in the world. A little bit about me. I grew up in the south side of Chicago, 5 brothers. We're all in the auction business. We're all in a charity auction business. I am a licensed auctioneer and what's called a BAS. There's only 1% in the world of BAS auctioneers, which is benefit auctioneer specialists. That's all we do. I don't do car auctions or real estate or estate sales. It's fundraising every single day. So what I can help you with is, hey, what's working around the country versus what's not working, different strategies, new ideas. And so here's one of the new ideas that we're bringing to you. It's the bid paddle. You've surely been to an event where there was a bid paddle. Come on up, Sarah. Everybody put their bid paddle in here and face the numbers towards me. We're going to do a social media photo. Now check this out. What if I did this? Yeah, that means you guys too. Look at this photo. So get a good photo of this. And I'm going to teach you a sponsorship moment. So we got a good photo and we'll put this on social media and we'll say, the Schaumburg Rotary is coming up. If you're not here, this is the party to be at. You better be here. But more importantly, turn it around. We'd like to thank Snooze Mattress or Allstate or whoever that company is to do something on the back. This is a great sponsorship moment to change the game for you. And I want to let you know, really what that moment does right there is it gives you an opportunity of something that you didn't have. And it also gives you a photo opportunity, because when I give that photo to the person who sponsored it, let's say it's you run Allstate and that was your company, and there's 400 people holding up your logo, we simply give you a photo, and on the back of it we say thank you, and no one ever throws away a photo with their logos all over it. Not only is it such a good idea, it becomes an auction item for next year. Hey, who wants to be the bid paddle sponsor for next year? We're going to auction it off right now. So there's lots of cool ideas like that. And again, I'm going to give you a lot of information here, and then you can hit me with questions. The wild card. John, did you pass any of these around or no? You don't have to pass them around. Don't worry about it. I'm going to explain what a wild card is. When I'm an auctioneer at a group, you've all been doing a good job getting your auction items. Hold on, is that peppermint ice cream? With the hard chunks. Hold on, with the hard chunks of candy in there? Yep. Got right off track with that. So what a wild card is, so everyone here has been working on silent auction items or helping to get items, and who knows who and who can get what, because the more you can get organically, the more things just work. But I'll do an ask the night of, and I'll say, hey, the board and committee does such a good job getting items, but I have to ask you, we're putting a wild card on everyone's table, or a couple of these, and I'll say, hey, maybe you belong to that golf club. Maybe you have that house in Maui that I could auction off. Maybe you are that chef and we can do a chef experience and I'll auction it off right now. You know, maybe you got that place in Wisconsin and we can do a fishing trip or a snowmobiling trip. So by creating a wild card is giving the audience one more ask. Hey, what do you have that I can maybe auction? And there's some strategy involved in that, but I shared earlier with the committee what I've done. I work with MDA across the country, Muscular Dystrophy Association. I help men with ALS all over the country, and it's a devastating disease, and it's a mission of hope on a journey for a cure. MDA is hope, and ALS is a journey for a cure. Well, I happen to ask the crowd that I could auction off, and maybe you were never asked. See, a lot of times people give in the wild card because they just didn't know or no one ever asked them, even though they're sitting right at these tables. So what I'm doing is just doing a one final ask. And so here's what came up I guess it was probably in November. The first wild card came up, a bull sweep for 16 with all the food and all the booze. I sold it for $18,000. Now, that doesn't always work this way, but I'm just telling you that just happened. Taylor Swift tickets. Someone in the crowd, that was a moment where Taylor Swift was in the news, and this guy had 4 of them. And I auctioned them off. And anything can come up. Sometimes I get too many. Sometimes one event I had 20 wild card comes up, and I simply picked my best 3 or 4. And I said to the crowd, you just took care of our golf outing. We have so many items here. We have enough for our golf outing. That's how many items I got. But for the board point of view and the committee, then I teach them to call this card and say, hey, Joe Smith, thank you for that bull sweep. Can we count on it for next year? And sometimes you just build items. So this is thinking out of the box. This is doing things a little bit differently, but structuring it. One thing about the bid paddles at the end of the night, I do something special, and I'm going to tell you that now, because this is what I would tell the auction crowd. Hey, there's something special at the end of the night. Save $100 for the end of the night. And I'm planting that seed. I want to talk about my team. So my brother Johnny is a ringman, and what a ringman does in the crowd, it's not just here's where organizations go wrong. They say my brother's uncle's friend and his other buddy are going to be spotters. Which I just always say, no, just enjoy, let them go enjoy the party. And what I am for you is a breath of fresh air so you guys could actually enjoy your party. But what a real ringman does, a professional ringman is an assistant to me. It's an extra set of eyes and ears. When I'm looking this way, Johnny, yes, I know that Johnny's got a bid over there and I don't even have to look. And sometimes I'll hold his hand and I can just give it a quick look. I know Johnny's got a bid. They're professionals. They're good for, I say sometimes 20% more. So when I'm auctioning $500, looking for 1,000, 1,000 there, 1,500 there, now look at 2,000. 2,000 going once, and I'm talking to you right in the middle. 2,000 going twice. I'm trying to get her to bid 2,000 sold. My ringman will come right up to you and say, "Hey, thank you. Without your $1,500 bid, we would have never got there." But I'm also making a mental note that she bid 1,500 and didn't get nothing, so I remember her. So we're making mental notes. It's called the underbidder. It's the underbidder. So there's a lot of strategy that can go into this. But ringmen are full of energy, observant, genuine, engaging, promoting fun and excitement. But I think the most important part is when we're new to a crowd, I'll simply be walking around and I'll probably meet several of you again at the event and you'll hear me say, I'm like the auctioneer. I got a lot of good items. I got a trip to Mexico. We got a chef dinner. Any questions? Once in a while, I'll wear a button. And the button says, ask me about live auction number 4. Live auction item number 4. Sometimes I'm not doing nothing and someone will say, tell me about live auction item number 4. And so I'm constantly, we wear buttons, we think out of the box. And so to raise money, you have a silent auction, you have ticket sales, you have a live auction, and we talked about a paddle raise. Now, Al, did you do a paddle raise before, a mission ask, a fund to need? And so a big part of, I think, the event and a big change is going to be a mission ask where we're going to create a need and then we're going to try to fill it. So, for example, I just did a Catholic school and the need was a bus to help with sports. And I said to the parents all in the crowd, aren't you tired of driving your kid everywhere? We need a bus. We need the bus. And we talked about what the need was, and it was $80,000. And we basically, I said, there's going to be a level for everybody. Find a level that hits you in the heart. We're going to start at $5,000 and we're going to end at 100. So there's a level for everybody. And if we all did it, we're going to get the bus. So I motivate. Again, on that stage, it's motivating. It's a bit of salesman. It's a bit of educating because, hey, what you guys do for the community, not everybody in the crowd might know. And so we have those moments. But before I start at $5,000, I'd like to see if there's any heroes in the room that would help get this bus at $10,000. Any heroes in the room? And you'd be surprised Once in a while, we get one. Once in a while, the committee will come up to me and say, we have a donor who's given 10 grand. What should we do with it? And I'll say, oh, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure we get a $5,000 donation when I ask, because that'll motivate others. And then we might take the $500 level and take the other $5,000 and say, we're gonna match the next 10 $500 donations. And so we talked about, Alan, the tool kits, right? The tool boxes. And so does everyone here know what that is, the tool boxes? And so we thought that might be a need. Like when I'm doing MBA and I got kids with wheelchairs here, it's easy for me to say, who wants to sponsor? I want everyone to raise their hand for a minute because this is what happens at MBA camp. Who would like to sponsor a kid at camp for $250? Everyone put their hand up. I swear to you, that's what happens when it's sponsoring kids going to camp. I'm in. And so now we're going to try to recreate that for kids with toolboxes. Maybe bring a toolkit there. Maybe bring somebody who uses it. And so I start thinking about this, and really it's only been about 10 minutes of thinking like, hey, toolkits, these toolboxes are going to be around forever. It's not like camp where you go for a week and it's over. They're going to be around forever, making a difference. And here's the need. We need 10 of these. And they're $5,000 a piece. I don't know what the cost is, but the goal is $50,000. Let's do this. And so we're going to add that. And every year we'll come up with maybe a new need. And so those are some cool ideas to structure it, to be motivational, I'm here to inspire you to say, like, listen, everything that you can get helps. I want to talk a little bit about audience acquisition and parties that we'll do. Sometimes we'll have a party like this size and we'll put a whiteboard up here and we'll have some wine and cheese or pizza or whatever, drink a few beers and see who knows who and who has what. And the whole goal is, let's get on the phone now. Get those Sox tickets and check on those Bulls tickets. And we'll literally take care of the whole auction right now at lunch. And it's like done. And so I want to let you know, I'm not here to do that today with you, but the power of a text. Alan, we had this talk earlier. He's an email guy. I'm a text guy. I want to tell you one story. I do events for police all over the country. SEAL Team 6, Robert O'Neill, I do all his events, and a guy named Dog the Bounty Hunter, and you guys know Dog the Bounty Hunter, and a guy named Lee Greenwood, who seems proud to be an American. So I go around the country helping officers. And we were driving to Chicago from Champaign, Illinois. That's where I'm from. It was about a 3-hour ride. And Johnny was driving, and I texted about 150 of my friends, and I said, I want to do a party for the police. It's not a 501c3 charity, and I keep in mind I'm texting this. It's $1,500 a table. I'm going to bring in all these celebrities, and we're going to build morale. We're going to throw a big party for the cops and their families. And you know what? It's just needed. I sold 49 tables via text. I just copied and pasted that and changed the name. One screw up, you got to make sure you change the name and make it personal there. I screwed up once, but I sold all 49 tables, and it made me think the power of text, besides Alan. And now I feel like my man here. I'll let you go, Alan. I'll let that go.
I'll be around.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. The power of text is almost like when I say, I ended it with a little closing statement saying, can I count on you for a table? We need to do this. And I sold every single one. Okay. And it was just holy cow. And so I go around letting people know, like, now let's talk about my next text to everybody. So 49 people bought a table at 10, but then I sent a text, don't just fill that table. You could also send your voice text, and it'll come across your tone. But still to them, they can open it when they want to. It's like a voicemail almost. I said, don't just fill your table with people. We need people that support the police. I don't care if I didn't want this to be political. You could be on the left or the right. We need to be more center when it comes to safety. And that was the mission. I interviewed, we had 175 cops there, old, young, fat, skinny, black, white, Republican, Democrat, gay, rookies, retirees, didn't matter. This was just simply a party for the police. Nothing else mattered about it. And let me tell you what, it went unbelievable. It started in Champaign, Illinois. Now we're going all over the place. Seeing Lee Greenwood sing Proud to Be an American was a great moment. But what I wanted to let the people know, if you bought a table, I need the right people here. Bodies don't mean bidders. We need people to attend and spend. If you want to break every record and if you want to get these toolboxes, we simply have a little bit of structure. Bodies don't mean bidders. It's okay to text, hey, I bought a table. Can I count on you? I bought this table. You're my guest. Can I count on you for 2 seats? June 16th. Put it on the calendar. Did you put it on the calendar? It's a little bit of that, and then reminding people, but we could go, I don't know your numbers yet. Okay, Sarah and Alan, I don't know the numbers, but I will tell you this, we'll break records. We're gonna break records. We're gonna have 4 or 5 strategies. Like I said, the wild card. And remember, I got something special at the end. Save $100. I got something special at the end to tell you. 1% of auctioneers do this. There's a group of us that gets together once a year in August, and it's 250 of me. It's like 250 people of me. It's crazy because basically what we'll do is we'll say, stand up and talk about an idea. So this guy would stand up, talk about an idea, and we'd all stand up and talk about an idea. And that's where all these ideas come from. I mean, they come from really brainstorming. Latest trends, what's working, what's not. So I was able to get a trip to Mexico donated for this event. So check it out. I'm going to talk about that because that's the something special at the end. But the donated trip to get a trip donated, they said, put a trip in the live auction. So that night I'm going to be auctioning off a trip to Mexico. All right, it's 5 nights. You can go to a Riviera Maya, which by the way, I just went. It's unbelievable. Anybody been to Vedanta properties in Riviera Maya? This Vedanta property is 5 nights. The pools are unbelievable. I've been from Turks and Caicos to Maui to Aruba. I've never been in pools like this. So you got 2 years to travel, and I'm pretending you're the crowd that night. I'm pretending you're the crowd that night. So why not buy your vacation if you're going to go on a vacation and help out the Rotary? You got 2 years to do it. You can bring 2 kids if you want, under 12. As I said earlier, I would leave the kids home. I was just there. I did a commercial in the pool for that police event, actually. And I was in the pool, and it was Christmas time, and the event we did was for Shop with a Cop. We turned it into a charity, Shop with a Cop. Well, I'm in the pool, and so the other location is Nueva Vallarta. If you haven't been to Nueva Vallarta, it's near Puerto Vallarta, and it's got just awesome ocean property. And so you can go either or. And normally I'll say to the crowd, I sell these at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. But today it's different. We're not going to sell them at 8 grand or 7 grand or 6 grand or 5 grand or 4 grand or 3 grand. We were given 12. Was it 12 or 15, Alan?
Yes.
That's what I'll say. Who wants to be the first hero to go to Mexico for $2,500? Now check this out. The data, every auction I do, I sell like 10 of them. It's unbelievable. And we give bottles of tequila away too. That's the key. Some people just buy tequila for $2,500. But I was explaining to the committee earlier, I did one for Project Hood, who's Pastor Corey Brooks. We did his event for him, and we did it at Union Station in Chicago. And it's for giving kids opportunity. It's a lot of the same missions. Giving opportunity, giving people options, helping the community. And he says, well, we don't know. We've never really done trips. We sold 60. It was like $60,000 in profit right there. And so what I want to let you know, then I went to Kansas City, and this is what I think I would like to do here. I was there during Latin. It was like Latin week or Latin weekend or Latin month. I'm not quite sure. I gotta get my data straight on that. But I'm doing an event at the Kansas City Convention Center for a big humane society. And this was a woman who was abused, and her pet really saved her life. And so she wanted to make sure that every single person who has a pet, they never get to lose their pet because what happened to her. And she services 4,500 people a year for free. She charges nobody. If you could afford it, pay me. If you can't, don't worry about it. A pretty amazing story, really. And so there was this party going on in the street, all these mariachi bands and all the dancers and singers and so forth. And so I thought, holy cow, I'm going to go hit this mariachi guy up and see if I said, I got a couple $100. Can you show up tomorrow night at 8:07? I'm doing a live auction item to Mexico. I'd like you to come through the crowd and play. And he brought him and 2 little dancers that were dancing and singing. And then we sold, I think, 23 Mexico trips. And so I want to let you know what I do is we do things differently. As I told the committee earlier, you don't want to be the event where people would rather give you $300 to not come. Here's $300. I'd rather not come to your deal, you know? Or if you've been to a party that's like this. And so I'm a well-oiled machine. We keep things on time. I know Sarah is the same way. And you know what I think people appreciate is boom, boom, boom. Man, that was good. It was fun and it's over. And I think those are a couple keys to success. A little bit about me. Been married 30 years. My daughter runs the Boys and Girls Club in Carpentersville, or she's a social emotional learning executive there. How did she get that job? She was helping me at an auction one day, and then Drew ended up hiring her. She was a 7-year teacher downtown Chicago. My son runs a chocolate factory in Wheaton called Four Brothers. And so, yes, I get to hook up on a lot of chocolate. And my youngest son, Mikey, he works in Champaign, Illinois. So I got 3 kids. And really, this is what I do. I've been in the furniture business for 30 years. I've also, I grew up with a dad who was an auctioneer. There was a meeting earlier and we were talking about NBC and your host. Let me just check time here. I'll make sure I'm rolling here right on time. The host said, hey, you could do some commercials. Well, I am that guy. I am the guy to help out your host to say, hey, listen, I'm Big Mike, your auctioneer. The auction is coming up March 4th. What's the date? May 6th. The auction's coming up May 6th. Put it on the calendar. If you don't have it on the calendar, pull it out now. Put it on the calendar. Let me tell you about a couple of the auction items. So I could be that guy. I do commercials nowadays right at my home. I send it to you guys. You put your graphics on it. And so there's just cool things to do. I got an idea also that I didn't share with you guys at the last meeting. It's called the Golden Ticket. Have you done Golden Ticket before? You sell 100 tickets at $100. Someone goes to like Costa Rica or Hawaii. He with the most money doesn't always win. It's a great idea. And some of these will put in year after year because you can't do it all at once. I probably overwhelmed half of you already right here. A couple things when it comes to consulting. When it comes to the ask, I'm either all in or I'm not in at all. That's why I've came here twice already. I'll know everything. I'll get to know you. I'll get to know what your mission is and what you're doing for the community. And really, this is how these meetings happen. Meeting after meeting after meeting will equal success. The hardest thing of the night is going to be to give bid panels out to everybody that you're not used to getting them. And maybe there'll be a sticker here and it'll say, you know, Joe Smith, table number 20. And so that little structure is going to come. But I'll leave you with this. When it comes down to the end of the night, I said there was something special. So the fundraising's over. We got 10 toolboxes. And the live auction went great. And this got figured out. Holy cow, everyone's sitting at the table. We did a social media photo. We got a bid panel sponsor. I'll talk about that back for one split second. This you could sell for whatever amount you want. You got to set the pace. If you want to keep one of these to show somebody, sure, keep one. If you don't want it, leave it on a table and I'll collect them when done. But this could either be your guys' logo. It could be somebody who's been with you for a long time. Like, you know what, we need to take care of this guy. He's been with us from the beginning and that would be a cool thing to honor him. You could put 2 logos on here, split it right down the middle, double logos. And you could sell it. It'll be the most popular item that you do. It'll be sold out every single year. $1,500, $2,500, $5,000, whatever you want to do, you could do it. So here's what I do at the end of the night. We've raised the money, the night's over. And I said, remember, I've been telling you there's one thing left. There's one thing left. We're going to come around and collect your paddles. So I have people with buckets. When I do big schools, tomorrow night I do the University of Illinois sports program. I have athletes with the buckets. Football players, baseball players, volleyball players in their jerseys. And they'll come around. And if you put your paddle in, you're in for $100. So we're going to come around. If you put your paddle in, we're in for $100. Remember the trip I got donated? We got a 5-day trip to Mexico to give away. We're going to put all these paddles on the stage. We're going to mix them up and we're going to call someone up to pick a winner. So here's what I say. If we all do it, it'll be the biggest item of the night. Keep in mind the fundraising's over. We're done. We've already done whatever toolboxes we got. The night was over and we're doing one more thing. And I told the committee earlier, I did a Catholic school, it's been about 3 months ago. And this was a little bit bush league of me, but I had the pastor and the fathers and the sisters and the nuns and the teachers come around with the buckets. And so father came up to this table and father, you know, boy, we took all 400 people put their paddles in. We took in so much money because of the strategy. So when I do D1 schools and it's the athletes, here, I don't know who it's going to be at. When I do the food bank, we push around grocery carts as our. When I do a youth one with kids in wheelchairs, sometimes they come around with their electronic wheelchair with their mom. And so what I want to let you know is, let's say we got 400 people there. We want to give every husband and wife a paddle because then the chances are double. And then we're going to give away a trip to Mexico. And he with the most money doesn't always win. So you just never know. It's luck of the draw. And I will tell you these days, I do events with Pete Rose. Any Pete Rose fans in the house? I know Pete can go either way. When I did Pete's event, he said, even the guy who shot the Pope got a second chance, but they haven't gave me a second chance. And that's true story. And I believe with all the gambling that's going on, you know, people love the chance of $100 I might win this trip. But more importantly, I tell the crowd, if we all do it, if we all do that at the end of the night, including, let's just say all of you are in for that 100 when I announce this the night of. You will influence others by putting your paddle up. And basically, you might win a chance to Mexico. And I've been telling you all night, save $100 for the end of the night. I got something special. Oh gosh, what if we take in $30,000, $40,000? That might beat the whole live auction together. It might beat it all. And it was over. The event was over. So again, out of respect to time, any questions for me? I can go all day here. Again, Big Mike, your auctioneer. I'll give you an example again, Johnny. You give me a little bit of ring, man. Go ahead, stand it on up. All right, so you're in. You go up to 3,000 and you go up to 4,000. Ready? We're gonna sell these 4 Bears Packers tickets with sideline passes. Looking for $1,000 bill, $1,000, $1,000. Can I get 1,000, 2,000, 2,000 here? Looking for $2,000, 2,000 back, give her 3,000, 3,000 there. Now listen, sir, John Wayne would bid again. 3,000 here. Can I get $4,000? You owned it once already and haven't paid a dime yet. 3,000. Can I get 4? 3,000 going once. $4,000. 4,000. Now Johnny's working him over there. Johnny, he wasn't even supposed to go higher than that. He did. And so what I want to show you is there is simply having some fun and then say going once, going twice, sold number 484, $4,000, number 484. Hey, that's going to buy some toolboxes. You know, we structure this whole thing. So any questions from the crowd? Yes, sir.
You thought of changing your name from Big Mike to Crazy Mike?
I know. I know. You know, I'm just wired this way. There's a couple weird things about me. I'm really a non-drinker. I've never smoked in my life. I've never done a drug. I've never had a sip of coffee. I get up early in a good mood. Me and Sarah do that. My wife's
Wait.
my wife and you and Alan.
You and Sarah get up in the morning?
My bad. Okay, sounded bad. We both get up in a good mood, but we're not together. But here's the deal. The only thing my wife gets mad at me is that like I'm always in a good mood. So that's all she's got on me. So I say to her, is that all you got? Is that all you got on me? And so I got 5 brothers. We do this all over the country. I get really picky on who I want to help because it's got to be a good mission. And I'll end it with this. I had to do an event for medians. Do you know what a median is? A median is talks to spirits and different things. And so I don't judge anybody. I did their event. But here's what I'm telling you. I'm at the point in my life now where I'm not doing their event no more. I'm picking and choosing what I want to do and team up, and we'll really have some fun. Not knocking them. It just ain't my deal. I like helping kids and making differences in the community. And I think we can change the world one community at a time. And that's what I'm going to do for the next 20 years. So thanks for having me. Whoa. One more game. Forgot about it. Time out. Let's go to 1:30. 1:30. I want 29. I got 1 minute. Everybody stand up. Let's do this. I'm going to give a bottle of booze away. Where's that bottle of booze? Alan's holding it up. So we're going to do this live that night. Here's what I'm going to say. Have you ever heard heads and tails? If you haven't, here's how you do it. Pick your head or tail, and so last man standing is going to win this bottle of booze, courtesy of Alan right here. Pusser's Rum. Is that it? Pusser's Rum. Let's do this. Pick it. Heads or tails. If you got your hands on your head, you're still in. Everybody else sit down. And now that gets rid of half. Let's repick. Heads or tails? If you got your hands on your tail, you're out. Oh, got a few left. Pick it. Here we go. If you got your hands on your head, you're out. Down to a few. Pick it. If you got your hands on your tail, you're in. Who's left? Couple of you. You 2, you 3, you 4. Here we go. George might win this. If you got your hands on your tail, you're out. So check it out. I don't know if he left, but you 3 are still in. Let's do it. Pick it. Repick it. Go. I'm going to pick it up just like it is. I'll show him. If you got your hands on your tail, you're out. Heads is the winner. Come get your bottle of booze. And so what we'll do tonight is we'll do something like this for free and maybe give a booze basket away or a wine basket or something to just do for free. There you go.
All right, all rise. next week, we have Dennis Mellon. Mellon. 3 secret principles to team performance. So please be there. Let's see, let's have, Alan lead us in the 4-way test.
It'd be my honor, Your Highness. 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all?
Thank you for your service. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.